All right. There's that. All right. And then okay, I am ready to go live when you are. All right. Sorry about that.
Totally good. All right. Okay. Give it a shot. Hey, there we go. Oh, and you're muted on Discord right now because I think you're getting your stuff set up and probably talking and saying hi to people. So I'll do the same for a second. Hey everyone, welcome. We've figured out our tech stuff here, and I think we're good to go. I think she's probably chatting over there. I'm chatting over here. But welcome. I'm going to go ahead and get this kicked off in a second here. But I'm super excited about this. I have one of the most amazing people I know ever, and that is Miss Pr1ncessCoffee, who's one of my besties. And she has agreed to join me in a little chat today. We're going to be covering some mental health subjects. One in particular that we're going to
He
start out
does
with.
have
Oh, there she is.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
there
I
you go.
muted you. I
Hi.
muted you. I'm sorry. Hi.
Oh, you're good. You're good. I wanted to make sure everything was good for you and me on both ends.
We are good. We are live, and we are together in one. And this is really neat and really cool. And
Yeah. I love it.
so
She does her own thing. Hold on. I gotta move that. I forgot. She has to be closer in front of me. The cam does, or I make some really silly faces.
Oh no,
Like
I
earlier,
saw. Oh.
I could do this. I could do this with my finger, like put it near my lips, and it makes my tongue stick out. Like it's like, oh, it's not
Yes.
gonna do it now.
No, but it did
It was making my tongue stick out earlier.
it did it earlier, and it did it when you had like your eyes crossed, and I was like, whoa, that's like a little.
Yeah, I started crossing them
Well
on
then.
purpose.
Oh, so yay! So why are we here today? What are we doing? What are we? I mean, we're having coffee with coffee.
I'm here for the coffee and for Sparrow and to hang out with my friend and talk about some really sometimes deep stuff, but overall, I wish it was less taboo to talk about it.
Well, that's
If that makes
fair.
sense.
No, it totally does. I mean,
Because
this is one of the
I
things
feel
that
like
go
it
ahead.
gets unaccepted for so long that it's coming along, but I wish it was faster. But
That's
yeah,
fair.
I love that we're doing this. This is my heart is full.
Well, it's important. I mean, it's one of those things, and you're 1,000% right. Mental health is one of those things that uh, people they box up and they kind of put into the side, and they don't want to talk about it themselves. And a lot of people who aren't necessarily going through that sort of trauma, or that are having those personal internal issues, they don't want to talk about it because they don't feel they're educated. They're not sure how they can help, and they're worried that they might make it worse. And so you run into this issue where those that need the help aren't getting it, and those that want to help those that have that, they have no idea what to do. And so yeah, it's one of these subjects that, like, unfortunately for the longest time just really wasn't talked about, and people felt really bad about it. And you're right, it is one of those things where people are starting to talk about it more. I'm seeing a lot of really cool stuff out there, and people are doing things like this. And I'm really honored and blessed that you wanted to join me on this today, so that we can have a discussion about it. So yay,
Yes,
coffee
I
with me.
love it. I appreciate you asking me to join you. It was wonderful. I appreciate it a lot.
So we have a few people in my chat here. We've got Addie and S Dog and Wolfie are all here right now. So hey everybody. Um, and I think for aw and S Dog loves you. I think for today,
Oh, hi, ass dog.
what might make sense is maybe we'll have, because last time what we did is we did kind of a like almost straight went into like an AMA, where it was like for a couple seconds talked about some mental health things, and then, excuse me, good lord, that's a lot of coffee. Um, went into, like, different stories and getting some stuff from our friends here. Um, I think maybe we'll start our discussion, since it's the two of us together, and then maybe kind of transition to that after a little while. What do you think? Oh, I lost you.
I put push to talk so that I
Ah,
wasn't talking over you while you talked, and then
oh,
I forgot. And I'm talking. The only people that could hear me was my chat. Look,
fair enough.
figuring this stuff out. It's been, a little while since I've been consistently streaming. So it's like learning to ride the bike again. I'll get it. I just need to try
No,
a couple times.
you're good. You're good.
But yeah,
No,
I'm totally. I think that sounds amazing. So
awesome. Okay, and hi, Major. Welcome on in. I think you saw that Major is neither
I
here
think
nor
there's
there.
both
Oh,
places.
okay. Oh, oh,
Yeah,
oh.
yep. He just said the same thing to me.
Uh,
So he's neither both or
yes,
I
he's
don't know.
everywhere and nowhere all at once. So, all right.
Yep, 1000%.
So PTSD. So we'll cover a couple different topics, but I think the main one that we'll kind of focus in is PTSD, and there's a couple of reasons for that. And I hope you don't mind if I give like a little bit of an intro, and we'll do a little back and forth. But I kind of want to talk about why I wanted to talk about this, if that's okay.
No, yeah, yeah, yeah. This is you. I'm along for the ride, and I'm gonna enjoy it, and I'm gonna soak it up, and love you for being you, because you have an amazing heart, and you and I match up in this kind of stuff. And so you invited me, and I'm following your lead. So take it away, sir.
All right, fair enough. So PTSD, it's post traumatic stress disorder, and it's one of those things where right now I feel it's really relevant during this time of year. I personally have a friend who was overseas. He was in the military, and he went through some really crazy stuff over there. This was back Afghanistan in the early 2000s, and there was some serious things that really, just crazy stories that he told me about. And this time of year is really hard on him. And it's hard on a lot of our veterans. And while PTSD is not necessarily something that is just confined to a certain group, there's lots of different types that are out there. Um, my personal experience with a lot of organizations that I work with, due to the fact that I'm involved in a lot of youth programs that also have ties to veterans programs. Um, it's difficult this time of year for them, and it's because we have events, right, like the 4th of July, which will be coming up tomorrow. And one of the
Hmm.
things that people like to enjoy around this time of year is fireworks. Now, I'm not going to get into the my thoughts and feelings on the craziness of illegal fireworks, especially out here on the West Coast, where everything likes to light on fire very easily, and the
Yeah, yeah.
irresponsibility of people who like to do that on their own. But well, that's a subject for another time.
That's a
Um,
thing. That's a thing.
yeah, we had a couple fires last year. But the thing that a lot of people don't think of is that those fireworks those can be triggers. Those are trauma reminders um,
Right.
that can set off different things in people. And for my friend, this is a very difficult time of year for them because at any time from mid June till well after the 4th of July, folks are randomly setting these things off, usually at around midnight, because that's when they think they can get away with it. And it has a major impact on
Hmm.
him and his family, and it's really,
I can't
really tough.
imagine.
It's crazy, and I know why, based on some of the stories and whatnot. But it's just that he's reliving those moments. So now you have a little background and you know some knowledge on some of this too. What do you know about PTSD?
I know that it definitely it doesn't pertain only to military. It is definitely something that is, like you said, revolves around traumas that happen. And honestly, it doesn't happen to just humans. You look at my dogs with the fireworks. I have one that's a rescue, and I know for a fact, like I don't know for a fact per where I got her from, but I know from her behavior that she was abused, and that was a trauma for her. And fireworks, regardless of human, animal, or what, that trauma is there, and it is definitely a thing right now for them. And PTSD, it's any trauma, things from childhood. Just the loud noises trigger that fight or flight, you know?
Hmm. No, 1,000%. And I like that you bring up with animals because it's interesting because you see with them the anxiety and fear that goes along with that, and it's not everyone's the same. Just like not everyone's the same because people go through different experiences, and whatever experience that was for rescue and whatnot, um, that can also trigger that type of fear. Now, one thing that's very interesting about PTSD, and I didn't know this at first, but PTSD for the longest time was known as like an anxiety disorder. And it's not anymore. It's actually been classified very differently. And this is big in the medical community because it also depends on the type of um, help that you can get and the different type of therapies that can work and what the diagnosis is. And it's trauma based type of event, which makes sense obviously because it's in the name. What's really important about this is that whether it's veterans or childhood, this is something that can be set off, obviously, from very, very quick, impactful events on your life. Also, just before we get too far into this, I know my name is drSparrow11. I am not a real doctor. I am a friend that likes to talk about things that are important, and a lot of you have asked to talk about this. And Miss Princess Coffee, I don't believe is a doctor either. But we're having a chat about this because this is important subject matter. So I just want to throw that out there. I know we're a little bit into
Absolutely.
this, but that's a little
Yeah, when I
disclaimer here.
brought it up earlier in my earlier stream, I made sure to let it, we just want to be there for people, talk about it, open, the platform for discussion, but no way are we certified
No.
or, a professional in the area. I have a background. I actually have 2 semesters left for a bachelor's in psychology. But with that, I'm still by no means a professional. I am certified domestic violence advocate. That still makes me by no means a professional when it comes to, knowing it all. Like there's so much that's so already undiscovered or not discovered thoroughly enough or not discovered, but and researched. That's where words are hard. It's fine. So yeah, there's a lot of room, a lot of places that this still needs to grow, but yeah, no way possible am I by any means professional, even though I do this for a living. It's what I do. It's still there's so much even for me to learn, let alone the subject in general. So just the platform was platform. I want to open the room for conversation and make people understand that we're here for them. And yeah, yeah.
Cool. And speaking of that, what was interesting about with the platform and just everyone um, interested in the subject itself, because for some of you this is very personal. The one thing that's important here is to know that you're not alone. This is a very common um, condition. And in the United States alone, there's more than 3 million cases per year in regards to this. And no, it's treatable. Okay, there's lots of different ways, and we'll talk about that. Of course, it's important for diagnosis. There's different types out there, and treatment is different depending on what the trauma is and whatnot. I mean, when it comes to PTSD, this could be something that could be wartime related. It could be physical, sexual, or even verbal assault. It can be related to car accidents, earthquakes. Something very it's a quick strike that really changes inside what's going on. And we'll also talk a little bit about that too, because what they find with PTSD is that the impact of the event can be so great that it actually physically changes things in your brain, as far as connections and things of that nature. But again, it's treatable. And the biggest thing is that when it comes to any kind of treatment, especially with mental health, it's where you look for a community and you look for a group that can help, because you should never go alone with this sort of stress and this sort of events. There's always something and someone out there that can help. And a lot of people don't know how to help, and we'll talk about that too. Oddly enough, I didn't know this, but did you know that it's actually more common in females?
You know what? I don't think that is actually something that I statistically knew.
Yeah,
Like I
no.
said, there's so much that even even 2 semesters away from a bachelor's degree, I still have so much to learn. Um, and it's also one of those things where a lot of people that have PTSD do not even recognize that it is PTSD.
Hmm.
The awareness for what it is. Like it could be something that you didn't even realize was a trauma in your life. It was in the forefront of your mind, it's insignificant, but your subconscious brings back so much more um, than you even realize. And those things come out and things like you are saying, like this weekend, never had a problem with fireworks before, and then didn't realize I had something that was impacting me so strongly until the next year with the Fourth of July fireworks that triggered my fight or flight and panic attacks and anxiety and all of that. So a lot of people don't even realize that they have severe PTSD. It's, oh, I've had, this is what happened in life. This is what it is. Well, yes, but it also was a significant impact. And yeah.
Well, it really does. And the symptoms of PTSD can vary, obviously. Once again, a lot of the trauma that's behind it can create something different. Now, as Doug, you mentioned like loud noises still trigger, and that's a trigger for you, and that happens to you a lot. That is definitely part of PTSD symptoms. There's like 20 different ones that are out there, but they kind of group them into four different ones as far as when they kind of take a look at it from a whole. The one that a lot of people think of, especially when it comes to wartime or maybe some sort of education that they have in themselves of PTSD, is re-experiencing, right? So that would be like flashbacks or bad dreams, scary thoughts, um, where they're reliving that moment, and because of that, um, the next part here for the symptoms is that there's an avoidance, right? They don't want to relive that again, so
It's
they'll.
almost, the stages of grief. You go
Mhm.
through the denial, you go through those stages, and they may not be the full like grief stages, but there's a lot of them that correlate. They really do. You don't want to believe that you were affected by this. You're stronger than this, because society says, if you show any emotion or you cry about something, you're just weak, and it doesn't make you weak.
No, it doesn't, and you're 1,000% right. And I feel like grief, because when we talk about grief a lot of time, and we talked about this on the last one, a lot of people automatically think, well, grief has to do with the loss of life, right? Which it does, but grief means a lot of different things. And the stages
Absolutely.
of grief that you go through that you just mentioned there, uh, you're going through grief because you're losing something, because you lose a part of yourself when you go through PTSD. Something changes, something's different, and there's a it can be 1,000 piece puzzle that you have, and that could be a huge puzzle, but there is one piece that suddenly has gotten lost. It's missing, and when it comes to grief, it could be that piece that you never find that piece of puzzle. But it doesn't mean that if that puzzle got all broken up, and that piece is now lost, that you can't rebuild the puzzle. And when you finally do, yeah, it's going to look a little different. There's going to be that piece that's missing, but you can still be whole. And it's important to acknowledge that and remember that. Now, with the avoidance factor, and this is part of what you're talking about, they'll stay away from reminders. They'll kind of block out thoughts and feelings of that actual trauma, right? And this is where you get into a lot of like the other types, such as abuse. And I know you've got a little bit of background there with what you were telling me about, with your job and whatnot, where you were
Oh
helping
yeah.
people out.
Yep.
And so, since you personally experienced people that had gone through that, like what were some of the stuff that you actually saw as far as what people were dealing with when it came to like avoidance?
So yeah, I mean, personally, it's not only the job that I do. There's a reason why I um I really really cared about the field that I entered. Not so much that I was in a domestic relationship, that because the shelter that I work at is for domestic you know um, partners. So like sexual partner. It's not specific. I wish we could open something. We do not have a men's shelter yet. We are a very small town, but it's a women's, intimate partner domestic violence shelter. But with that, like even though that wasn't something there that I experienced, there's been violence and abuse in my life as well, and it's what really had me wanting to move forward with this degree, and what I wanted to do is like help people. And Tim brought up a good point too, is that you just, eventually when you work through the things, it never totally goes away. It's learning how to live with them and cope with them and recognizing your triggers. Um, One of the biggest things is your first intake. You have the two different type of survivors, and that's what they are. They're no longer victims. They've left, they've done, the thing that they didn't think they could ever do. And that right away turns them, for us, into survivors. And the biggest and hardest day is the day they come in. And we have to do this certain amount of paperwork, and you feel so bad doing it the whole time because you're requiring them to tell a story that they just went through literally how many hours ago. And for police matter, all of it, like getting the story as soon as possible is important, but also that empathy to know that it was already a very hard, trying time, and to go relive it instantly the day you leave. But you try to work it out and you try to make it different. And if it's very bad, we will put that stuff off till the next day, and we will get them set up. And, it's hard when you get the littles that come in with them. And overall, like, the thing you see is you have two types of people when it comes to the trauma response. You have the people who literally black it all out, and you have the person that remembers every single detail, and they will repeat it over and over and over again. And it's very, everybody is diverse in how they cope with things, or how their brain literally decides what the fight or flight response is going to be during that trauma. And there is the two that you could really, like, there's so many, but the two you can clump together are the one that can't tell you anything, and the one that can tell you everything over and over. And it doesn't change their path or what they went through or make one worse than the other. But it just kind of signifies how the brain handles stress and trauma, and figuring out how your brain is processing that trauma, and learning to um, accept it and cope with it, and figure out what works for you to keep yourself from getting that trigger of fight or flight. And there's so much to it. There is so much to it. But yeah, I hope that answered what you were asking. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I kind of just went down a road there with that. Sorry.
No, no, that was perfect. I mean, and you're right. Like, another symptom there is thoughts and mood, obviously. And some folks, like what you're saying, they have trouble remembering the traumatic event itself. Like, your brain blocks it out. It doesn't want to remember. It doesn't want to remember the details, and so it puts up that barrier because the trauma was so great that it doesn't want to see that. Yet with others, it can be something that they're constantly reliving. They find actually with PTSD with children that is something where the reliving happens a lot. Not for all. Some of them have that, but with very young trauma, they have they find that there is a tendency to they put the events of that trauma kind of in a different order, and they think that there were signs ahead of time that, like, they should have known it was going to happen, that it was something that they should have been able to stop. And it's not just through children, but that's something that they find a lot, like between the ages of 5 and 12, that those that go through this, um, they do that, and so they do that as a reason, as part of the fight, not necessarily the flight, where they look constantly for signs before another trauma happens to them. And that way, they think that if I pay attention enough, that I can avoid that future trauma. And so they relive that moment a lot in their mind. And they'll show this a lot of the time, especially for the young ones. They say through their play. They'll keep repeating that part of the trauma in there. Um, they'll try and fit it
Absolutely.
into their daily lives, and it's sad. Um, and Addie wrote hypervigilance. Um,
And compartmentalization.
mhm.
She wrote that too in mine.
Ah,
And I actually have here, it's a fact sheet for adverse childhood experiences, and the trauma, um, serious childhood traumas that can result in toxic stress. And toxic stress prevents development in certain areas of the brain as well. And so you have the increase in a child that has problems with their memory, their tolerance for stress and things that you would find, like you were saying, are a normal situation that is just a little stress and they're learning how to deal with stress. They can't handle that. Like they literally end up doing, the defiance disorder, and they have a hard time making friends, which just lowers their depression into an even deeper state. And, for these young kids to be, let alone adults, it's hard for us. I can't, I guess I know I block a lot of stuff from my young years, and bringing that up, like I realized talking about this, like I do block that stuff out, and I didn't realize it until right now. There's a lot of stuff that I block out. Um, but it increases the stress hormones, and that's how autoimmune diseases, because it prevents the body to help prevent infection. It affects your body from head to toe, and for kids it is, like you said, like the percentage is so much higher for them. They're still developing brains, yeah, and then that leads to later in life increased risks for alcoholism, heart disease. I mean, that stress, even in childhood, can put an effect on your heart for later in life. Um, Smoking, suicidal, even asthma, believe it or not, can sometimes be triggered by a childhood trauma.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I pulled out some of my training paperwork after I talked to you earlier today, and I thought this would be a good one. And you brought up children, and I'm like, yes, he's reading my mind.
Well, we do every now and then finish each other's sandwiches. So
Sometimes. Okay,
sometimes
more often than sometimes,
that's
but
fair. But no, I mean, you're right there. I mean, they'll go through, and this isn't just children, right? When you go through this, you can, some of the effects are is that you'll have negative thoughts of both yourself or of the world. And there's a large amount of guilt and blame that goes along with that. And for kids, even adults, you lose interest in enjoyable activities. And losing that sense of childhood, losing that sense of yourself, um, can be really just devastating. And especially when you feel like you're on your own and when you have negative thoughts of yourself because you feel that you're the one that's to blame, you feel that you're the one that's guilty, you don't necessarily reach out because you feel like, oh, this was me. I'm the one that needs to take care of this. And, you know, let's be real, children aren't equipped to do that. I mean, adults aren't equipped to do that in reality. We just aren't. There's a lot of different things that go along with this. When you go through PTSD, the last kind of major of the four box there is like the arousal and reactivity side of it, right? Where you can be easily startled, but you'll feel tense. You can have difficulties with sleep, which automatically that in itself can completely change your mood, your mindset. Has a huge effect on your development, especially at the early ages. And you get angry outbursts, and different things of that nature. I'm going to switch back.
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
absolutely. The distress intolerance, the lack of interpersonal effectiveness, like all of those things, to be, someone who can communicate well becomes even, you know, um, harder to do, because that emotion regulation is hard to control. Like it's hard to control those emotions once you hit that certain point. Um, and obviously there's ways and skills to do that, to regulate that. But when you don't know where to turn, and like we discussed earlier, you don't know if you should tell anybody because, what are people going to say? And yeah, there's so many things. And the biggest main part is that regulation of your emotion. Um, you lose the ability to do that. And then you're this person who has major outbursts and you need anger management, and it's a whole different spiral unless it's addressed correctly.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
It does. It does. And when I think about obviously going back to the veterans, but not just veterans, but also first responders and some of the stuff that they go through. I have a couple of friends that are EMTs. I do want to go back into the veterans because I do have something I want to kind of go into there. But like, I have
Oh
some
yeah, yeah,
friends that
yeah.
are EMTs. I got some friends that are doctors that work in the emergency room. And what's interesting, like when you go to gatherings or whatnot, there's not always, but 9 times out of no, okay, 1 time out of 10. Let's not say 9 times out of 10. Somebody will ask, "Hey, what's like the craziest thing you've seen or whatnot?" Right? And they're not trying to be funny. Like they're like trying to like find a way to connect or whatnot. But what they don't realize they're doing at that very moment, and this is important. This is actually something for people to think about here. Is you're actually asking that person to relive one of the most horrendous things they've ever seen when you're asking about that. And some people are very open and whatnot, but you have to be careful with that because
Timing is big there.
it
And
is.
when you have, sensing when they're ready to be able to do that without it spiraling, if you will.
hmm it's you, you're 1,000% right on that, and it's more of what if they're going to have that stage to talk about it, they need to be able to be ready. That's not a like cocktail party drink conversation. But unfortunately, that does happen a few times, and I've seen it where like you can see the person just kind of go dark a little bit, and they'll brush it off. They'll try and like put up their shield in their face and whatnot, but you can see that there's an almost an immediate mood change. Um, Now with veterans, so my friend, right, especially around this time of year, and I know I'm coming back to this, but talking about like the increased alertness and the anger and irritability, and even hatred. Um, with a lot of them, they've gone through a lot of training, right? And there are some automatic responses um, that people go through if they've been conditioned to do so. And so these sort of things can set them off into a very different mode. And hearing the booms of the fireworks and whatnot can put them back into that wartime mode. And at that point, wake up alert and immediately go into defense mode or attack mode. Um, and so for my friend in particular, um, he fears, and he hasn't, but he fears that he's going to do something in response to a fun firework out there to his own family. He fears that his training and whatnot from before will set that off to where he'll go into that defense mode and that he could do something because automatically person not necessarily part of the squad or the team or whatnot, um, especially in a dark, if the room is dark and whatnot, don't know who it is, can set that off. Um, and so this was something that they went through a lot with therapy and treatment and discussion. Um, and it's one of those things too. When we talk, and we'll get into this in a minute, but when it comes to treatment and therapy and whatnot, for some folks, it can be a short path. It can be where, um, you know, shortly after the event, they have it, and maybe after a small period of time, maybe a few weeks, maybe a couple of months, they're able to, with help and treatment, be able to get over this. But for some, it can be years and a lot of.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean I wouldn't call it reconditioning because I don't feel that that's appropriate, but
Behavioral therapy.
yeah, yeah, and where they're having to change that themselves a bit. Now,
It's rewiring your brain, if you will, to certain responses, and it does take time, and it takes, there's lots of things out there, and if anybody's ever interested in any of that, I do have, certain amount of things that I can post in Discord, worksheets and whatnot for that. But But yeah, it depends on the person. It depends on the wiring. It depends on the response. Like, like you said, it depends on, your friend um, loses so much control of like whether they're where they are, that they fear that they're going to respond because they don't see a partner and a child. They're literally back in the place that they were, you know, when it happened. They're not physically where they're standing or laying, which is a big thing. It's usually a lot of times when they're laying and sleeping or trying to sleep. Insomnia is a huge thing for post-traumatic stress
Yeah.
disorder. Um, but the other response, the other side of it is again, like you have the people who put themselves right back there, and then people who deal with it in different ways. And so that behavioral therapy kind of works on what your wiring currently is, how you currently work, and what can we do with that to make them connect but keep you from feeling out of control. It's not easy, but in the end you will feel so much better. It will be so much better. And I just I just hope that people know that they can always reach out. And I know that I keep jumping around a little bit, but my
No,
brain, the ADHD brain I got, it's fun.
that's
So
fair.
yeah, it's that wiring, and everybody's wiring is different, and what works for them isn't going to work for someone else, I guess is what I was trying to say.
Hmm.
Words sometimes are hard for me, but um, my meaning is there, and it's just a matter of how I get it out in words. And that's what it is. It's like, you do the therapy not because you're crazy and need to be, people are like, oh, you need to be in a straitjacket. No, you need to figure out how your brain works, and that's why there's professionals for that. And they figure out that wiring and figure out what that wiring needs to be more on the healthy side with, coping mechanisms and tolerance for stress, and, being effective in the interpersonal relationships. Um, no road is easy, but this one's a good one to take.
Yeah, and it's and the word I was looking, you hit it on the head with the cognitive behavior therapy of changing that thought process, right? But you bring up just the you're not alone. Like there are lots of different groups, people, individuals, family members that want to help. Um, yes, it does take a step. It takes a step of recognizing that you want and need help. But as family members and friends, it's also important that we try and assist with that. And we've talked about some of the different signs, right? So with therapy, there's lots of different resources that are out there. They talk a lot about group therapy for this because then you go through people who, like especially like veterans and whatnot, where they go through similar or like experiences, right? When you've got, the just a lot of the different trauma groups that are out there. And by having that support group, that network, it's easier to part of the recovery with this is unfortunately it's going through that exposure. It's an exposure therapy where you have to, in order to get over it, there is a reliving of that traumatic incident, and going through that alone is not necessarily it's not the path you want to go. And having that support group, that network, to be able to support and help you get through that is extremely important. And that is a huge part of one of the different types of treatments that are out there. You know, there are other things that go along with this. Obviously, self care. Making sure that you
Absolutely.
get timely help. um, There's also medications will sometimes also be prescribed depending on the situation. There's antidepressants that can help with one of the symptoms. Obviously, with PTSD can be that. There's also anxiety medicine that comes along with that, and then also obviously what you talked about earlier is the sleeplessness, and so they'll also sometimes prescribe medicines to treat the insomnia. to assist with that. So there can be a balance of medication, but again, a lot of this has to do with being able to talk it out, and go through that exposure, but not going through it alone. And there's so many different resources that are out there. So yeah. So, and you again, you've with your background there, you've seen firsthand what helping people out and bringing them together can do.
Absolutely. Group is something that is not mandatory, but is offered every week. Um, and obviously, you get the one-on-one with your advocates, right?
Hmm.
I'm the advocate. You have me, and you have multiple other advocates who are in the shelter. And then you have the counselor that is part of our program, that you can, basically we can get a hold of her at any time. You need her, we'll get her. It's a tough job. It's not always a 9 to 5. It's really not, and it's actually more of the opposite. And but the group therapy, people get so scared and they fight it and they don't want to go. And you don't push. You just mention what it's going to cover that day. And one day you're gonna hit that, oh, that might actually help me, trigger, if you will. Um, and they end up coming to group and they end up like coming and letting you know, like, oh my God, I don't know why I fought that so hard. It is so much of a relief to find out that I'm not the only one. Yes, their story is a little different than mine, but the overall idea of it is I'm not alone. And there's sisterhoods that grow there, people that come in at the same time. Um, it is. I do believe that people create some great bonds, like bringing up again that interpersonal part. It helps rebuild that interpersonal trust, because when you've been in such an abusive relationship, trust is not a thing for anybody. You do not have, unless they're, obviously you're here because you don't have a lot of family, or whatever that reason is that they're across the country and you can't get out to California and you're on the East Coast. um, these shelters exist for things like that, and you feel, I'm sure, so I mean, I can only imagine. um, I see it every day and I still can only just imagine, um, the fear of being alone and doing it alone and always feeling alone, and they felt alone for how long. um, Mindfulness place is a big deal. um, I didn't know, even with my studies, how important this was. But finding that thing that helps you, like mindful meditation. For me, gaming is my mindfulness place. That is where, not streaming. Yes, I love streaming and gaming at the same time. It's a little different atmosphere. Literally, even just logging into a game of Dead by Daylight for 1 or 2 rounds by myself to just check that out. If it's overwhelming and it's too much, it's okay to push it back for a minute. It really is, but for a minute, like letting it stay back there is continuing. It's hard, I know, but there's good people who really, really do care. And um, yeah,
No, 1,000%. And like for me, my mindfulness place, and you know this very well, is music for me. Music creation, but even just listening. Like music itself has a tendency for me to really pull me into a different world, and that's it's really important to me. I feel like there's a
yeah,
soundtrack to my
absolutely.
life, and it's interesting too. Like I have Spotify, and I will listen to a lot of different things. But every now and then, I will be listening to something that if somebody saw, they'd be like, "Are you okay?" Um, and well, yeah, I might be going through something at that moment. A lot of the time, when I'm listening to that, it's comforting to know that you're not alone in your thoughts. When you hear some of these different songs of people that are going through anxiety and distress and depression, and to be honest with you, I've seen more and heard more recently, because again, this is something where people are talking a little bit more about it, but it's definitely not, a majority of the music that's out there. But to hear that and to be able to go like, wow, there's other people that are going through this, and it brings me back to like again, with PTSD, there's over 3 million of these cases per year. You're not alone.
Yep.
And
The world itself, every day there's traumas. The things happening in Florida with trying to find people. That's traumatic right now. That's traumatic. Not let me rephrase that, because like my reaction to that is not as traumatic as what obviously the families are going through, but it's almost a little trigger. Losing family members the way I have in the past. It is a little like being an empathetic person also kind of triggers that, but it's traumatizing in general. Like COVID itself was traumatizing to watch. All of it was anxiety ridden. It was everybody was glued to the news. It was even things that are not affecting you personally can still be
yeah,
very hard and bring up stuff that you have that are not even related in whatever way, like we had brought up in the beginning of all of this. But Tim also brought up a really good point, and I love it, so I want to read it to you real
yeah,
quick.
go right
Having
ahead.
a quote unquote blanket of love around you is huge. Always knowing that there are people who love you and support you is huge. As soon as you feel alone, it becomes overwhelming. That's 1,000. That is it. Like you just want to shut it all out. It's just easier to shut it out. But the big thing there is, and I wanted to address it, is mentally between, and I will delve a little into my personal life here. Um, COVID, I have severe anxiety. I actually have been diagnosed with severe PTSD, childhood traumas, adult traumas. Um, One of the biggest things with that is this last year, COVID caused that. Like I got laid off, that rise of anxiety. I have an autoimmune disorder. Don't know how this is going to affect me. My mother also had autoimmune, and right after, my mother suffered multiple heart attacks. And what we thought was a simple cath that they'd come out with a couple stents ended up being triple bypass for 5 blockages. The percentages were ridiculous: 92, 97, 83%, like 5 blockages in 3 arteries, and no damage to her heart. I, to this day, believe somebody was holding her heart in their hands. I might choke up a little bit here, so bear with me.
No worries.
Amazing, like that. That's a lot of blockage. And for her heart to be healthy, like that's a genetic thing that we have as coronary artery disease. And um, the lack of damage was just like this, like power, something, whether you believe in a God or whatever, there was something there that just made me, wow. But it was hard. She came home. I took care of her. Uh, it's true what they say that one day the roles are reversed and you take care of your parents for a while. Um, and it was hard. And after she recovered and was able to start doing things on her own again, um, I spiraled. I finally was coping with all of those emotions that I didn't have time for, because what was important was that she got up, she had this, she got her shower, she checked her BP, she checked her weight, like every little thing that we had to do. And then once she didn't need me anymore, I had all of this time to just let all of it finally hit me. And with that, I did spiral. And that brings me to kind of what Tim was saying is love. I one day decided to do this thing where I was going to log into a Twitch app because I just wanted to check it out because I've always been a gamer. And I have found the most amazing, supportive, loving communities. Multiple, not just one, not just two, not just three. And all of you, and you all in my chat, Sparrow's chat, most of you know me, all of you had a part in pulling me out of a very deep, dark place. I'm starting to feel like myself again. And you know what I mean? Like, love is important. And even if it is in a place where you don't actually see the people, I'm an introvert. So this, like, I know I don't act it on cam because, or like on stream, because I'm in my comfort zone here. Like, I can leave when I want. I'm not face to face with people. I'm an extroverted introvert. It's a very weird thing. I'm a walking contradiction. Um, but here I have just found so much support and love that even that alone, knowing that you're supported and loved, literally helps so tremendously. So with that comment, I just kind of wanted to take a minute to just thank you, Sparrow, Dorky Luna, JP, Jay, Meredith, Rossberger, Vulcan, I mean, just there, Don't Rush Solo. There's so many people who have like personally reached out, made sure I'm good. Like I never expected to find that on such a large platform. And I cannot say how much amazingness there is here. Okay, now I'm done.
That's fair. No, and I'll echo that a little bit. And first off, I'm going to go back to something that you said real quick, and it doesn't surprise me about your mother there, because I would say that both, since it runs in the family, that you have a very beautiful and strong heart, and so that doesn't surprise me that hers was okay too.
Oh, thank you.
The I can't agree with you more about this platform. Um, this last year, I know we're deviating slightly from the topic, but
Yeah,
it,
that was
it
my bad.
no,
Sorry.
not an issue there. I mean, it's still we're still talking about mental health here, and this last year has been difficult on a lot of people. There's been a significant amount of change that has happened in a very short period of time. Um, and I've talked about this before. I feel my heart goes out to especially the kids who had really no choice in the matter of completely changing their lives in a matter of a minute, literally a minute of just, this is what we're doing. Sorry, you don't get to see your friends at school anymore. You don't get to go there anymore. You have to do this. You don't get to go to the programs that you're all involved in. Or you do, but it's going to be different, and this is how you're going to have to deal with it. And yeah, you can't go do these things, and you can't see these people. And the anxiety and stress that's behind that is absolutely just, it can be soul crushing. And they just went ahead and were like, okay, that's what we have to do. And they didn't.
Absolutely. The
Oh,
kids in our world have not received enough. Um, I don't think they get enough credit for how moldable and how well they handled it, because you're right. It's been upheaval for everybody, and adults are barely handling it, and
mm-hmm.
they're just champs.
Yeah, and control is an interesting word, because you have two things that you can really control, and that's your attitude and your actions. But even then, some of that, depending on stress and anxiety and things of that nature, that it's hard to control those as well, right? And I'm going to echo back to this platform and the connections. For me, growing up, when I think back at that earlier age. And I talk about musicians, and having that connection to a song that can help you cope with different things. That was kind of my outlet. That was my deal back then, and it was a lot for a lot of people. If you talked around, the quad at the high school or whatnot, people were using that sort of platform itself, of the voice of a musician or the lyrics, that kind of brought something out in them or helped them deal or cope with something. That's different now. It's very different. Like S Dog, you're saying your outlet is art, and that's how you can get out your emotions, your feelings, right? And we talked a little bit about that last time. But what we're finding now, and they've seen this, is that instead of musicians and instead of that sort of kind of focus and connection, um, Twitch, Facebook Live, YouTube, people are finding more connections with streamers. And it's because of the way that the platform is designed to have that connection. There's a human interaction that's there. And there's a different sort of feeling that goes along with that. And communities is the biggest thing. And so for me, also, back when all of this was going down, there was a lot of isolation. I am not an introvert at all. I'm the opposite, Princess. I am an extrovert to the max. Um,
1000% you are. You are that, oh, you want to do this? Let's go do it right now. That is you. And you bring me outside of my comfort zone a little bit, and it's good for me. And I appreciate you for that.
that's fair. I have to learn to peel it back sometimes. I got, but for me, and so um, isolation is kind of a big thing, and you can be when it comes to like Zoom meetings and everything. Like for my line of business and the types of programs that I am in with youth and whatnot, it was a huge change. And luckily, with a lot of my technology background, we were able to do things differently to try and make it work, but it was different. And it pulls on you. It really kind of it does. It was really hard. It was really hard. And I have a loving family, and they're very supportive, and I have wonderful kids, and I have a wonderful wife, and they're amazing. Um, but there was definitely something outside of that that was different, and there was a piece that was lost. And on a whim of coming over and like Sunshine was one of the first people I met, and very inviting, and didn't know me at all, and allowed me to come into a little Minecraft realm. That spawned a whole series of events where I got out of my comfort zone and tried to, like, I'll give this a shot. And I met Wicca, who introduced me to a significant amount of people and got into that community. And then there was that one day where just a random click, I ended up on Miss Dorky Luna, and I met her and you two are just absolutely amazing. And the friendships, the communities, everything. I could just sit here and list off for another half hour all of the
Yep.
names of the people who have done so much. Imperfect, everybody. Hammy, Bigfoot. I I I I I don't want to start doing that because I feel like I'm going to leave someone out, and I
Yeah,
don't want to
because
leave
you will be
anyone
here all
out.
day. Yes,
And
yes,
and
you
it
would too.
but everyone's been just so supportive, and no one, it's not judging. It's everyone's going through their own thing, and everyone wants to be there and help. I personally, this sort of thing where we're talking about deep subjects, um and a lot of the time at the end, like, I'll do a song or whatnot, and i i, I
Oh,
hated my
Tim,
voice.
glad she's doing well. That is hard.
Like,
Sorry, I
oh,
forgot I
no, no, no,
wasn't
no,
supposed to
oh,
talk
you're good,
anymore.
you're good, you're
Sorry.
good, you're good, you're good. No, 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 you're fine. And yeah, I've obviously talked to chat. um but the confidence and just the self love that has come from the support of all of you has been absolutely amazing. And it's gotten me to do things that I never thought I would do, and it's made me really happy. And I really enjoy being a part of such amazing communities. And it's been really good.
Me too.
It's been really
Good
good.
for my soul.
Yeah.
I'm better because of the people I've met. I'm a better person because of Dorky, as a Sparrow, and like you said, we could go all day
We
long.
could. We
You
could.
know, and that's the thing is, um, words are hard again. I totally lost my train of thought. Oh, so yeah, even if you're an introvert, like there's still this need as a human, as a biological makeup for communication and um, stimulation and being around people, whether that be here on this platform. Tim was just saying that his wife was diagnosed with cancer, so this isolation for him has been longer than just the year and a half. It's been 3, and she's recovered and doing well. But yeah, it's that even though you're an introvert, you still crave that and mentally need that interaction with other people. Um, and we are so easy when we start digging into a dark place. It's so easy to just stay there, because I know that easy is not the right word, but you know what I mean there. It's so easy to just stay there instead of force yourself back out of that comfort zone. And then you meet people like I've met here that literally just have inspired me and made me want to be better. Dorky is PG-13, and you know me. You know me outside of Dorky Stream. Princess is not PG-13.
No.
And I find myself at home censoring myself more than I ever have. And that's good. Like, I don't need to be running around dropping F-bombs in the grocery store. You know what I mean? Like, she's made me better, proud
Well,
of the person I have become and am becoming.
let's be real. She's PG. Her chat and the people that join her
Yeah,
make it
we're not.
PG-13. But yeah, no, a
We
thousand
would make
percent.
it rated R very quickly
That's
if she
fair.
didn't
That's
kind of
fair.
go, no, no.
No, but I agree, and it's been really good, and that's bringing that all back full circle right now, right? We just talked about community and how that in itself has helped us out with our different things. Going back to what we talked about earlier, um, with PTSD and the things that you're going through out there, you know, there are resources. There are people that want to help, and there are groups of people who are going through the same thing that you're going through. And there's always another option. There's always someone you can reach out to. We've got a couple of things. I'm actually going to flash this on the screen real quick, if you don't mind.
Oh, the Discord stuff?
No,
Oh, no,
actually, I got a different
the
one
link,
here.
yes.
So these are some crisis
Um,
resources that I have, that I found from the PTSD website, and this is actually through the VA.
yeah.
But this is like, there's a lot here, right? And first off, there's the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, and that's for anyone, okay? And it's 1-800-273-TALK, or 8255. And they've got lifeline chats online. There are a lot of different things that are out there, for that. For our veterans, there's a crisis line specifically for them as well, and it's same number, and you press 1, and you can get, there's confidential chat, you can do text messaging. There's a lot of different resources that are out there, and again, a lot of this is in my Discord, but we'll make sure that we can get some of this information out as well. I'm going to go ahead and do this real quick. So there's a link for my Discord. If you go in there, you'll notice that there's 911. There's help hotlines that are out there, and all of this is in there, plus more. We've got the National Domestic Violence Hotline, which can provide what you're talking about: access to shelters and domestic violence programs, legal advocacy, public education, training, even. There's the National Sexual Assault Hotline, and the National Child Abuse Hotline. And there's a lot more that are in the Discord. There are so many different resources that are out there, and I know that it's really tough to want to reach out because you don't want to be a burden. You don't want to feel like you are bringing other people down. That you may be somebody, and Princess, I'll use you as an example based on what you talked about earlier, with your mom
Okay.
there. You may be a fixer. You may be a person that will
Oh,
put everyone else in front, and that you want to take care of them as much as you can
mm,
and try and help them, and that nothing else matters other than making sure that they're okay. And unfortunately, because of that, self-care gets put to the sideline, and it just it disappears. Um, and it's one of those where, there's a balance. It's really
mhm.
important to have a balance with that, and self-care is extremely important. We talk about, like, the airplane example. When you're on an airplane that's losing pressure, the first thing you're supposed to do is put the mask on yourself before you can go ahead and assist somebody else. Because if you don't
Yep.
do that, then you're not going to, you possibly might not be able to help that other person. And it's so important to be able to make sure that you are, when you're somebody who's very loving and you want to love everyone and help everyone, when you say the word everyone, you're included in that statement. You
And we
are part
forget
of
that
everyone.
sometimes, Sparrow.
We
You and I
do.
both forget that.
We do. It's a
You
fair
can point me
statement.
out, but I'm going to point you right back out because you do it just as much as I
It's a
do.
fair statement. I will not
I
argue with
wouldn't
you
have you
on
any
that.
other way. We it's nice to have people to remind you of, it's good to be a good person, but it's nice to also be surrounded by people that remind you that you're important too and self-care is important.
A
And
thousand.
and I have that here. Everywhere. I mean, everywhere that I have found around here is 1000%. Make sure you're getting rest, princess. I see you haven't slept in so many days. Yeah, you guys all pay attention, apparently. Thanks. I appreciate it because you guys know my sleep schedule better than I do these
A little bit. A little
days.
bit. A little bit.
Like, it makes you feel good that people actually care too. People that you've met on a platform that you've never seen or met in real life care enough just by talking to you.
Mhm.
It's like one big support group in its own way, I believe. If you find the community that works for you, it's everybody's different. Everybody's traumas are different, and there's such a multitude out here of different places to help many different facets.
And a 1000%. And again, this is our community. This is how we all support each other. And I really, it's really important. Like, know that if you're going through this or if you're going through stuff, there are resources that are available, and you can find that community, whether it's this community here or a support group for veterans. And there's so many different ones that are out there. I think of like the local groups out here, like the VFWs, right? We've got the Veterans of Foreign Wars, who have gone through different things for overseas, and how they support and work with each other and help each other out with making sure that they can get the help and support that's necessary for so many who go through so much when they come back, because it's a different world for a lot of people. And just having that group, having that network, having those like minds, there are things out there. Um, but again, just know that you're not alone. That Wow, I totally restarted the whole thing. Know that you're not alone, and that you know there's people want to be there for you. We want to be there for you, and you can get the help that you want and that you need in order to be able to find treatment. And you know you're not alone. You're just not. Well, at this point, are you still? Do I still have you? I do still have you. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm here.
I completely lost my entire chat by reconnecting, which so I have a feeling you have a wee bit
Oh,
more on
they
there.
should show back up.
Oh,
They
they will.
should
They
show
will.
back up.
Yeah, no, it's probably having a reset thing here. Um, but if you got anyone that wants to talk or bring something up at this point, I think this is a perfect transition point for that. If they have anything that
Yeah,
they
yeah,
want
yeah.
us to discuss, I think that would be
Or
good.
questions or
Yeah.
things they just want to share. If you just
Hmm.
want to share, and just be heard, because sometimes it's just that's all you want. Like I know that one thing is I'm a loud and obnoxious person from time to time, and whether it was real or not, growing up, I felt very unheard, even in real life.
Mm.
Sometimes today, I feel not heard. And I think that's my defense mechanism. If I'm just louder and more obnoxious, um, I'll be heard, right? Like I'm just louder. And when you're still not heard, that hurts, right? Like, okay, I'm screaming from the rooftops, hear me. So we also want you guys to know, like, you know, we're here, we hear you. And I'm going to mute you for just a second.
Yeah, go right ahead. I'll mute too. Sorry about that, folks. I did have a little bit of a stream issue there. It looks like the whole internet connection went down. I apologize for that. Princess went ahead and muted me real quick because she's going to talk to her chat about it too. But either way, again, there's a couple different resources. Right now, we're going to do is we're going to turn this over to you guys so that you can have an opportunity to talk or ask questions or maybe tell your story if you wish. If you want feedback, if you don't want feedback, if you just want to be able to share, that's perfectly fine. Because again, this is a platform, and this whole discussion, the whole reason for this was because of you guys. This was something that was requested. This is what you wanted to be able to hear about and learn about, and so or to share. And so we want to make sure you have that opportunity as well. Okay, here we go. Do. So we'll give her a second while she's actually here. I'm going to go back to mute. I feel completely blessed to be able to have this discussion, to have this talk with all of you. That you actually wanted to have this, and that we have this kind of community where we can have this, sort of platform and be able to work together. And it's really good. It's really it's just great that we have the ability to do things like this. Um, it's really important to talk about these subjects and not to put them in the background and to hide them away. There are so many people that need or are crying out for help inside, and it's not actually getting out. And it's because for the longest time, this has been so taboo. It's been so taboo to talk about mental health and just, you know, feeling like there's something wrong with me. It's not. It's not. Everyone else is fine, and so it's just me. And being able to have that discussion, to be able to have um, just an honest conversation about life, a real life. All of this is real life. None of this is, like they say, it's all in your head. No, it's real. And what you go through, your trauma, your experience, your anxiety, all of that, it's legit. It's real. And it deserves to be acknowledged and to have the conversation on it. It really does. So again, thank you all for giving us this opportunity. I'm gonna check back in with Princess real quick. Oh, you're still talking to your chat. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna open it back up with you. Sorry,
Okay.
I got a little raid from the Baba Clot boy, and so I kind of wanted to catch them up on where we are and what we were talking about, and like a quick overview, and then where we're opening it up right now for anybody to ask questions. Just share a story if they feel like it. Just sit and listen to somebody else's story. Any questions that you would like us to try and answer? I also reiterated that we're not professionals.
Nope.
We're just
I'm
here to
very
be good
amateurish.
people. Well, we're here to support our friends and support our communities, and know that we love you guys as much as you show us support. We love you all too. And for me, I don't care if I have 700 followers, 800. You're all my friends. You all have come here and shown me love, and you guys, some of the newcomers have missed. Like, I literally, because of this platform, Don't Rush Solo, Vulcan, all the people in these communities, I've been dug out of a hole that I didn't think was possible to come out of, due to the last year and a half being very trying, let alone lots of other trauma experiences in my past. So With that being said, I'm going to turn it back over to Sparrow, and I'm going to stop jabbing my
Oh.
jaw.
Well, we can start with your chat because again, I had a wee bit of an internet issue. Though I do see Bombaclot came in over here too. I think you shot him my way. So hi.
I of course did the shout out.
Of course,
Of course. Duh.
and of course, so we got to go back. But yeah, at this point, again, we want to open it up to give you all the opportunity because we wouldn't even be doing this at all if it wasn't for you. This was something that was actually requested to have more of these open conversations of, you know, just mental health in particular. And this, obviously, with PTSD, it's very timely based on what we talked about as far as some of the triggers and whatnot that happen around this time of year. But either way, this is an open forum, and this platform isn't just our platform; it is your platform. And so we want to be able to give you that opportunity. So if there's anyone who would like to ask a question, if you want to share your own personal
Okay.
experiences, all of that, it totally fine. And Princess and I are going to both be looking at our chat at this moment, and so she might have somebody that speaks it first or whatnot, and we'll try and make sure that we have the opportunity to you know give you
You know what?
the ability to talk. So go ahead.
To start this whole out, like, because I know that this can bring some people out of their comfort zone. I'm going to step outside of my comfort zone.
Oh.
Maybe.
Oh, I know what you're doing. Oh, you got to switch the camera view.
Yep.
Oh, I don't know if it's gonna.
Hold on.
Oh.
Give me a second. Oh, it did that little thing on your screen again. It was cute. Let me make sure. Yep, that's locked. It's just taking a second, apparently.
I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I know what you're doing. Right now, I'm going to stare at myself. Mirror Sparrow, yes.
Let me just troubleshoot real quick.
No worries. This is my intermission song. Oh, there we go. Oh, but now I can't hear you. Now you've got it on mute.
Yeah, I'm much bigger.
You
now
are. I gotta fix this.
in
I
your
gotta.
stream.
I'm working
Not
on.
sure
Hold
how
on.
I
I'll
feel
fix
about
it.
that.
Hold
But,
on.
all right, Princess is out of her comfort zone.
Okay, hold on.
I'm gonna put my glasses back on now, though.
There you go.
So
there you go.
I'm like super huge on both streams. Not liking that at all. Either.
Here we
We're
go.
here,
There.
right?
We'll be the same size. There you go. I'm working on it. There we go. Yeah, let's see here. There we go.
Oh, I forgot.
There we go.
Okay, so yeah.
There we are.
Yeah. Comfort zone reached, but here I am. So we're gonna.
I love it.
We want Sparrow to be bigger. We want Princess to be small.
I already have a big head. You don't want that. No.
All right. Well, that's what it's gonna be.
There we go.
Oh, that's why, because it's over there.
Oh.
Yep, it's gonna be messed up for one more second.
No worries.
Because when I do the avatar, it has to be right in front of my face. That's why.
S-Dog says you're adorable, by the way.
I hate me. No.
Great.
All right, that's a little better. I feel more comfortable with that.
Hey.
So yay, I'm here. Hi guys.
Hi. Wait, there we go.
Wait, how do we like high five?
Wait. Oh, my hand.
Well, on your screen it'll
Hold
work.
on. Let me just wait. Let me move your. Okay, ready? Go.
Oh, Paddle Toast, thank you for that follow.
There we go.
Wait, hold on.
We did. No.
Oh, okay.
You had it.
Yeah, it works on your side.
All right. Awesome. Hey. Cool. Thank you for doing that. Oh, you're muting me again. I see.
Yeah, I was thinking I didn't want to be rude to your stream and start
No.
people
It's
for
fine.
follows.
No, it's all good. And I had a couple in there earlier, and I have to go back and I have some appreciation and love that I need to send out there. I saw a couple people from Twitter from our little marketing campaign on this, just to make sure that people had an opportunity to have their voice heard as well. A couple people came in from there, and it's been really cool. We've got some new folks in here that want to be a part of the discussion, and that's awesome. By the way, S Doc says that she's never seen Princess before like this, and she is very happy right now.
Oh, she's never seen me turn. I've turned it on. I just don't turn it on long. I don't.
Well, I think it's like
I'm
this,
trying to
like
work into
this.
it
No,
slowly.
no. I mean, you're doing fine.
What? Flustered because I'm on cam and I don't like it? That yeah, that's a thing.
You're fine. You're sitting next to the battle of epic proportions right now, so you're doing great. Oh, you muted me again. I'm gonna keep calling you out every
Yeah,
time you do
yeah.
it too. I don't care. So, do you
I
have
mean,
anyone in your chat? Do you have anyone that wants to say
um,
anything?
so far everybody is just being really amazing, like always, and showing some love right now. Do you have anybody to start on your end, or?
I don't yet, but if they want to, go ahead and feel free to type and chat. Um, and if we don't have anyone that wants to share or ask a question, that's fine too. I know we've been going at this for um, about an hour and a half now, which has been great, and it's been wonderful again to have this opportunity to be able to talk and chat with all of you and try and give resources to those that not only, you know, are looking for help themselves, but who are also trying to find out, like, well, how can I help? What can I do? I don't know what to do to help my friends, my family who are going through these different situations. I don't know what resources are available. I don't even know how to approach the subject. And it's been wonderful that we've had the opportunity to kind of dig in a little bit, talk about it, and again, take away that taboo of being able to have this discussion in the first place. And it's been really nice. So,
I have very much enjoyed this, and like I said, started. I appreciate you even in thinking of me and inviting me to begin with. Um, you have an amazing heart, and I think I'm very, very thankful for again all the people I've come across. But you and I are the best friends forever,
mhm.
and you know that. So
Princess and Sparrow,
we even have a song.
been forever. We do.
So
We do.
yeah, I overall, whether people want to share or not, I did want to just real quick just shout you out and let you know how much you've done yourself for me. I know you're like me and you don't accept a lot of love and compliments well. It's a thing that we shall work on
It's fair. Fair enough. Fair enough.
together. But with that, like I just can't express enough how much it's meant to have your friendship. Um,
And you
I've
know
met a
that
lot
goes
of cool
both
people
ways.
here.
Princess.
Absolutely. I don't like all this cam stuff. We'll just reach out like this and we'll be fine.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Ah, S
So,
Dog. By the way, S Dog is saying something. So, I wanted
okay.
to say that mental health affects me every day, and that's why I do art, and I try to talk to lots of people and make friends. And I love your art, S Dog. I have a feeling you have a little bit more to say there, but I know with Chad it takes a second on here. But I absolutely love your art. I love that you like to share the art. You've done that a couple times in my channel. You have your own channel. By the way, for those of you who don't know, S Dog is also a great streamer, and she does some cool stuff. And she's going to be a little bit of art here and there. I saw that she was doing a link to the past the other day, and let me go ahead. I'm gonna pull her up real quick so you can check her out. She also has a Discord channel, and it's amazing. And she's got really cool artwork that's in there, and a really cool community that's come together. A lot of our communities like to bleed over, and she is absolutely fantastic. And I love the art, and I love the fact that I had an opportunity. I actually met her through Princess's one of her communities when I was playing alongside with Addie, who is also absolutely amazing and has one of the most
Of course,
infectious, loving
absolutely.
laughs ever.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
it's phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal, and you can't help but smile when you're listening to her.
It's
Um,
my daily dose of serotonin.
this is fair. This is fair.
Literally, that's what I call it. I call it my daily dose of serotonin. Addie's laugh is my daily dose of serotonin.
And everyone's just been so phenomenal, and it's been cool that we've been all able to come together and meet and talk and be able to
Everybody
share.
check everybody out.
Yeah, and it's been really good. And SDog, you shared a significant amount of personal experiences, um, both you and Major, on the last mental health discussion that we had, where we were talking about grief, stress, and ADHD, and a lot of different things, abuse, and it was absolutely amazing. And again, you use art to express your feelings and to show how you feel. And that's it, it's important again, like with what Princess said about where you have that. What was the exact word again? The
Your mindfulness space.
thank you, thank you.
Yep.
Um,
It's
my,
a word that I literally talk about daily, and it's just one of those that I have to like, what was that word again? It's just one that I know what it is, but that word just is a harder one to remember.
no, but
And that is definitely S Dog's mindfulness place, her art. That's where she checks out.
it's perfect,
In
and
a
it's
good way.
oh yeah, no, 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 and it's amazing. So S Dog, I appreciate you, and I love that you have the ability to express yourself in a way that's also very beautiful. So thank you for sharing what you do.
Absolutely.
I will say that there's lots of different types of art forms that are out there. When people hear the word art, they automatically usually will gravitate to like paintings and artwork that made digital and whatnot, or even music. But there's so many different things. There's poetry. There's writing. Um, there's just the way of even performing, the way that what you're talking about, of getting the opportunity to express yourself through either this platform or even just talking with friends when you're playing a game, because it puts you in a different mode, a different mood, a different thought process. Um,
Absolutely.
Also, S Dog has something personal to say to Princess.
Oh,
So, do you want to do that in my chat or do you want to do that in hers? You could do it in mine, that's fine, and I'll relay the information.
yeah.
And yeah, absolutely, that would be okay.
But overall, I know it's not always hard to step outside your comfort zone, especially in a live public forum. Again, my DMs are open. There's the Discord channel on both of our channels. We each have one. But if that's just hard and you just need someone individually, know that, I might not be able to answer instantly, but I promise you that I will answer. I will answer and just I'll be here if you just need to sit on the phone and scream at the top of your lungs. I will be here if you just want to sit in silence together. Whatever you need, we'll do it. We'll do it.
Yeah, the one thing that I've learned about us and a lot of our group too is that we listen with the intent of listening. There's a lot of people out there that, and I think of this in a sales world of like the automatic overcoming objections, where they're listening just so that they have the opportunity to speak. Um, but that's the one thing that I found a lot with you and Dorky and a lot of different people out there, that they listen with the intent of listening, and it's not so that they can just have a call and response, but actually to let someone be heard. Now, S Dog says to you
Absolutely.
that, Princess, I just wanted to let you know that you're a beautiful soul and that I love your face so much,
Mhm.
and I want you to know that you're an amazing person.
All right. Princess said she'd get on cam. Didn't get out of her comfort zone. She didn't say she'd get on cam and cry again. So thank you, S Dog. You're sweet love. I appreciate you. And keep doing what you're doing because you're doing good.
100%.
You're doing real good.
And you are an amazing
I
and
know.
beautiful
I
person.
know. Uh,
Mhm.
I know that from just even her sharing personally with me, but also through your previous streams, the things that she's had in her life going on, and it's hard, and I really hope that we are at least some sort of embracing blanket, as Tim um, suggested the word phrasing I really liked. I really hope that you feel loved and hugged and warm when you're here because you are amazing too. That's why I was just saying also while I was muted. Like everybody in this chat and that chat, go check each other out because most of you stream and you all are just amazing individuals that you may find your bestest friends and even not, you're gonna find really good people. And most of you kind of already intermingle in different places, but some of you are meeting each other for the first time. And it's amazing to see this intermingling of what's creating in my channel and Sparrow's channel, and the love that was brought to me that then got taken to Sparrow, or the love that was given to Sparrow and brought to me. Like just know that I appreciate all of you, and yeah, you're all amazing.
She says, I feel loved and feel better when I'm around here, and that's why I'm here because it's
Hmm.
part of the escape. Um,
And that's what I could only hope for,
mhm. Well,
is
and
that she feels good being here.
you used a word to describe your feelings about a certain individual a while ago, and that's our good friend Miss Dorky. And I feel the same about a lot of you, and that
About home.
yes, this is home, and
Hmm.
it's a
It's my safe
wonderful,
space.
yeah, and it's a wonderful friendship, and yep, that dog agrees. And it's just it's absolutely beautiful. And with what you're saying about the cross communities, every single person brings something different.
Hmm.
Everyone is a unique individual who contributes so much to just the overall amazingness of this community.
I think
Um,
that's my favorite part about it is the diversity and the differences, but we're still proving that you can come together. It doesn't have to be toxic. It's
mhm,
it's embracing each other instead of dragging each other down is life changing.
couldn't agree more.
I know this has like been tough stuff, some of it, and of course, like again, I'm not a professional.
Nope.
I mean, sometimes I feel like Sparrow has more knowledge than me in some areas, and um, yeah, I just know that no matter what, I just want what's good for the people I care about, and that means all of you guys. So
Look,
I
I'm just
thank you, and I just want you to know it's reciprocated. And I do. Please do never hesitate. Please, if you just need a friend, you just need to sit in silence on a Discord call.
mhm,
Let's do it.
yep. And I couldn't agree more. Now, mind you, now I'm a pirate, so I steal shamelessly, and like, so that's all of my information and everything I get from all of you, including you, Miss Princess here. So like I look not I don't even look knowledgeable. I'm not going to say that because I don't. But a lot of
Wait,
this
your
life
name is Dr.
experiences,
Sparrow.
yeah, pirate. Um, but all of these the experiences, the stuff that I can talk about is because of the experiences that you all have and that you've
Merci.
shared with me. So it's been absolutely amazing. Well, I don't know if anyone has anything else to share. So we're coming up here. We've got a little bit of time left, but not too much. Um,
Hmm.
I sorry. Hey, princess, guess what I can do to make you giggle?
Uh-oh.
Mm, I'm
We can do
intrigued.
lots of stuff, but I know her troll spot. I know songs that bug her.
Yeah. So sing it, lads, huh? So I have to. I'm supposed to sing now instead of talking for the rest of this for at least 2 minutes
Yay!
here.
I'm muting.
Well, no, she didn't do a song, but so for the rest of
Oh,
this
you have to sing
time,
song.
I have to talk like this, and that is why we have a little fun today. I'm sorry, princess. I'm taking this a different path, and so I hope you'll stay. Is there anything your chat wants to talk about that you can see
What do you
so
think,
I
guys?
don't need to do? Oh,
I want
S-Dog.
Sparrow to talk about, in his sing-songy voice, uh, all the pickup cheesy lines he made me do last evening. That
I'm not going to
you know.
say those on stream. Sorry, those were for you. Let's see here. I don't know if I can do this for 2 minutes.
14 minutes of sing-songy.
No, not 14, not 14. Oh, no, it's
Why?
showing.
Why? I thought it was till the end.
No. This is a 2-minute redemption. So,
I'm
but
teasing.
no, it's fair. But, I mean, we normally do a song at the end of these. And I believe there was a song that you wanted to do, wasn't there? Oh, I look at face. I
No,
see a face there.
there is no preparation.
Oh, but there doesn't
Nope.
need to be preparation.
Yeah, there does when Princess's voice box is broken. Hmm I can do the Princess and Sparrow best friends forever.
Okay, can you do
Forever
that?
and
All right,
ever.
go ahead and sing that, and then
But you
stock.
sing the first part.
Oh, let's see here.
You
Princess
always do that part, and then I just follow it up.
Sparrow.
Best friends forever. And
Mm-mm.
then
Ever.
there you go.
Oh, S Dog wants me to do
So,
Hakuna Matata again.
ooh, yay. I love Sparrow's songs.
Oh,
Make me smile for the rest of the day.
all right.
I'm going to smile the rest of the day anyway, but let's end it with even more smiles. Yay.
Okay, so we'll do a cute song. That's good. It's once again we're not doing a soul crushing song, so this is nice. Had a
I
couple of
will
those.
say that your soul crushing song, the one, I didn't even realize the place I was in until you sang it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I wasn't there live. I'm glad I went and watched the VOD because I literally, the minute you started singing it, was like, what?
For those that are wondering, that was the song "Karma" by AGAR. They are an amazing band, and
So good.
it is extreme. Oh, it's amazing, absolutely amazing, and it goes back to what
And
we were
you did a
talking about.
fantastic job. You
I
did such a good job with that song.
I tried. I had a little it got a little emotional there for a minute.
It's an emotional song,
It
especially
is.
after the year, just alone with, you know, the pandemic.
Absolutely.
I could just hit home just for that alone.
Okay, all right. I think I've got the lyrics pulled up here. I'm gonna have to do this kind of funny though, obviously, because there's a couple of different voices that are in here. So let me pull up the right
I'm very
one.
excited for this
Oh,
thing.
Lord. You haven't heard me do this. That's right. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, she got. I'll get there. It's one more
Okay,
time.
I even got my
I
dimples
got
out.
you. All right. All right. Let's see here. So we got. Oh, okay. All right, let me find the. We're gonna do like the Broadway version here. Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase. Hakuna Matata. Ain't no passing grace. It means no worries for the rest of your days. It's our problem-free philosophy. Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata? Yeah, it's our motto. What's the motto? Nothing. What's the motto with you? Those two words that will solve all your problems. That's right. Take Pumbaa here. Why, when I was a young warthog, when I was a young warthog. Very nice. Thanks. He found his aroma lacked a certain appeal. He could clear the savannah after every meal. I'm a sensitive soul, though I seem thick-skinned. And it hurt that my friends never stood downwind. And oh, the shame, he was ashamed. Thought of changing my name. What's in a name? And I got downhearted. How did you feel every time that Hey, not in front of the kids. Hakuna Matata, what a wonderful phrase. Hakuna Matata, ain't no passing grace. It means no worries for the rest of your days. It's our problem-free philosophy. Hakuna Matata, Hakuna Matata, Hakuna Matata, Hakuna Matata, Hakuna. It means no worries for the rest of your days. Well, it's a problem-free philosophy. Hakuna Matata.
Thanks for that, Sparrow.
There you go.
That song's so fun. That
It's a
song
fun
is
one.
always
It is a
like,
fun one.
I feel like that movie came out and I was like just entering like out of like that like entering into that middle school, out of that elementary school. And I tell you that song has still stood amazing for this long. And we won't discuss how long that actually
That's
is.
fair. That's not necessary. That
Um,
does not need to be brought up.
because that ages you more than it does me. So,
Shh, 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 shh. Hush, hush now.
but no, it just has that good, like, it's got that good upbeat. It gets you involved, and it has the no worries thing. Sometimes you just need to sing and have no worries, and it's okay to literally sometimes just take a minute and come back to it.
Well, it's true, and
It's not going anywhere.
it's interesting, and I think this is a great way to close, actually. And that's like I'm really happy that you brought this song up because it brings up an interesting movie. And you say here that it's sad, but it's a good movie, and you were dancing while we were singing. Um, but this is a really good point here because the loss of a traumatic event that happens throughout that movie at the very beginning is when Simba loses his dad in a horrific manner and completely is stripped away from everything that he knows, and he runs away from it, right? And with Hakuna Matata, it's a song where yes, you're using that, and you're like, okay, you're finding a way to kind of cope with that. But what's interesting is that afterwards, when he's using that towards Nala and uh, trying to kind of hide and be like, oh, well, I'm not going to face it. I'm going to face this alone, sort of thing. And he has to go and confront and put himself in a place where he has to relive that situation that happened. And it's exactly where he's re-exposing himself to an environment that is going to bring up those memories. And
Absolutely.
he has his support group. He has Nala, his mother, all Pumbaa, Timon, and that's what helps him be able to overcome. And granted, it's a Disney movie and there are things that go in there. But I find with a lot of these that these are stories. These are legends and things of that. And the thing that I go with Brave is that legends are lessons. And this is a lesson in right there, honestly, in PTSD, in overcoming and finding ways through support in order to confront and ultimately find ways to treat what is going on. So I'm really glad that you brought that up, Esther.
And then just to kind of like top that off a little bit, like, um, trauma doesn't have to be something that's like this abuse happened to you or this or that. Like losing a parent alone is traumatic. You were raised, they took care of you, they made you, they helped create and develop who you are as a person. And that alone, losing a parent is traumatic. So your feelings are valid, and don't ever let someone tell you, well, that's not a trauma. That's just life. Like your feelings are your feelings, and that is a trauma. And whether it's as, you can't tit for tat on what's worse than the other. And I know that a lot of people tend to do that. And just know that your concerns, your feelings, your situations, your experiences, they all mean something. They're all valid, and they're not any less because someone might seem to have it worse than you. And that's a big deal to me that people know that, because I don't want people to think that their situation is insignificant because
Mm-hmm.
mine would sound worse. That doesn't work that way.
A thousand percent. And that's one of the things. Like there's always that statement that people have of like, well, hey, like, look, there's always somebody else out there that's going through something worse, right? That's something that's hurt. And well,
Yeah, that's a saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, and that might be true, but that doesn't diminish what you're going through. That doesn't take away. That doesn't make yours insignificant in any way, shape, or form.
I feel
And
like that statement was formed to kind of help people, like, just not wallow type thing, but it in the end has like a detrimental kind of message that was not intended.
hmm agreed. And it unfortunately that happens a lot, right? And
Mhm.
and that it's one of those where, again, that's why I think it's so important to have these discussions and have these talks, is because it puts it out there, and it again, it makes it less taboo, for one, but two, it gives people the opportunity to learn more about it, and not just how they can help themselves, but how they can help others. And I find that that's been, I'd say, probably my favorite part about going into these deep discussions, is it really does normalize talking about these subjects. And that's, we need to
It
do
needs to
that.
happen. Mhm.
So,
There's nothing wrong with having emotions, and that's something that I feel like generationally is was taught to us,
hmm
that you don't show that. You stick it out, and you deal with that, in private or at home. And again, it's come a long way. The research and the science and everything behind it has come so far, but as a society, we have a lot to do still.
no, I
And
completely
the
agree.
the awareness alone, people that just don't believe it till they see it or witness it or experience it.
1000%. Hey, Ed, thanks. Appreciate it, man. So, Princess, with that, I think we're coming to a close here. We're about 2 hours in. And again, just because the conversation of the stream itself is going to be ending in the not so distant future, it doesn't mean that the conversation itself ever has to end. And both Princess and I have our Discord channels if you have anything, if you want to reach out and whatnot. And there's a ton of resources. Again, I put the link for what I shared on my screen earlier, as far as the ptsd.va.gov site, in my chat here. And Princess, I'll send that over to you too. But again, all of
Yep.
this
Hmm.
information
Please.
is on our Discords. We have these helplines that are out there so that you can have access to those resources. And there's so many that are out there. And I'd love to pull up my Discord, but I can't do that while I'm on video chat.
Because we're on
Yeah, that's not gonna
it.
work. Go ahead, feel free, take a look at it, and just know you're not alone. You're definitely not alone. I mean,
So
with this alone, there's 3 million people who are going through something similar to what you're going through. Not necessarily the exact same thing because everyone is going through something unique and different. But there are like situations of people who want to talk about this with you, and those resources are available. And so, with that, I think we're going to be coming to a close here.
yeah, absolutely. Like, like one of the feelings that I just have a first time chatter stop in and yeah, people need to understand what PTSD is about and suffer. I suffer from severe CPTSD and now
Oh,
dissociation that affects me nonstop with the two fueling each other, and society doesn't care about PTSD or dissociation. Dissociation words are hard. Victims. And it's an awareness that I don't it's a hard subject. So it's easier to not address it and not approach it and pretend it doesn't exist than to actually look at the things that are hard. And that's true. It's not that people don't care. Some don't care and some don't take it serious. And that's why Sparrow and I are here today. And as you're new, I just kind of wanted to run that through you real quick. And with Sparrow, we are doing this because this is something we both have our own brand and our own way we want to grow in our own dreams for our communities. But at the core is that we want to help people. And that's something we discussed a little earlier too, is that we do it so much that sometimes we forget about self-care, things of that nature. But I'm so glad that he invited me to this today because the idea is phenomenal. Um, it does bring awareness and it allows people to come in and talk and open up if they feel like it. And just because you weren't here just a little bit ago, also if you type exclamation point Discord, and then I will also shout Sparrow out again, and his Discord is also correlated there. Um, we both have a section to come and talk to the community in a public forum, or you're always more than welcome to send a DM. We will respond as soon as we can and do the best we can to be a listening ear. Again, we're not professionals, but yeah, we want people to feel heard and validated. And there also is a channel that will be underneath both of them that will have helplines and hotlines. So any questions after that, please feel free to reach out.
absolutely. Just know that for both of us, this is a safe space where everyone, no matter your orientation, your background, any of that, just know that you are
Absolutely.
welcome, and that you can have a conversation with us. I'm going to take 30 seconds here because this is actually I didn't get a chance to talk about this, but I do want to bring this up just because you mentioned it because a lot of people probably don't know what complex uh, PTSD is, which is very similar to PTSD, but there are additional symptoms that go along with that, with like a lack of emotional regulation. Um, there's changes in consciousness. Sometimes when we talk about with what you were talking about earlier, distorted perception of abuser, there's lots of different things that are on there, and this is something that has actually become new and becoming more widely accepted in the medical and psychological fields that cover
Excuse me.
PTSD and anxieties and traumatic events. It's a little bit newer, but CPTSD is also something that's different. And so I invite all of you to take a moment to also do a little bit of research on this as well, because it's different. And there are
Hmm.
additional symptoms, and there are different things. There's also different treatment. There's similarities, but there's things that so I invite all of you to take some time to self-educate on that as well. And again, we'll try and bring some stuff into our chat so that we can share information on that. But I thank you for bringing that up because that's also another branch of PTSD. Oh, oh, there we go.
Nope, you're
Oh,
good.
cool.
I muted for a second to not interrupt you, but to address a question in the chat.
Sure.
Not pertaining to any of this, to the auto mod not liking the F word.
Yeah, fair enough.
Just haven't. Winters is the first one, believe it or not, to come in and
Oh,
drop the
well,
F
there we
bomb in my
go.
chat. So
Excellent. You know, there are certain things in life that we have learned to expect, and one of them is the amazingness of Mr. Winters and his vocabulary.
he
But he
is
is an
amazing.
amazing person. He is absolutely amazing. He's also a fellow streamer, and so you guys should check him out when he gets a
Absolutely.
chance. He has a different kind of addiction, not the one that Princess has, which is phasmophobia, which I'm not that far off. But he currently is on a Tarkov kick right now. And having a little fun with that. So when you get a chance, go ahead and check that out. But either way, at that note, I believe that we're going to go ahead and come this to a close. And
Absolutely. Sounds good.
I really appreciate you doing this with me. You're absolutely
I
amazing.
appreciate you asking me. I was so humbled when you reached out and were like, "Would you do this with me?" Like 1,000 times yes. And if you ever want to do it again, if you want to make it a monthly or every 2 monthly thing,
I'm good with
you
that.
let me know.
I'm
Because
good with that.
this is the community. Watching the VOD from the last time you did this, and just my heart's happy. It's happy to know again that I could just let the people that I care about know, even if you just need to sit in silence with someone. There's people out there that care and will do that because we care. And you can talk, you can not talk, you can scream, you can yell, you can swear, you can not, not cross boundaries, of course, but
Well, yeah, yeah.
I'm there for you. Sparrow's there for you. And as you spend more time in this community, you'll find that our communities very much mimic each other, and we're best friends, and I have a few, but my friends come and follow my best friend, and that's how Twitch works. And honestly, like I said earlier, everybody check everybody out, because you all bring something to the table,
All the
and,
things.
and all the things, and it develops into this beautiful place of love, and caring, and embracing, and self appreciation. That's a learned thing for me,
Hmm.
and it's a hard thing that I'm working on. And this place and all of you have really helped me a lot. So I want to thank you for inviting me, and I want to thank everybody for accepting me, and being amazing. And Winter says, "Don't butter him up."
Ah, all right. Well, I can't help it, Winters. You're just so buttery. But all right. With that, again, I can't think of anything better to end it on with than what you just said, Princess. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for allowing us the opportunity to have this discussion, for giving us the opportunity to really, again, normalize talking about these subjects that are so important to talk about. So thank you. We love you. And I hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful day. So with that, ooh, do we want to
That's
raid
gonna take some
somebody?
practice.
You like that? There you go. There you go.
That takes practice though, to get it right in the
Yeah,
cam, and
that's
it's
fair.
gonna
No,
it's
you
gonna
got it.
take a
Look at that.
minute.
There you go. There you go.
I currently don't have, like, I already raided Puddles earlier this morning. We could raid Hero's Treasure, aka Puddles.
Okay,
Or if you have someone on your
puddles.
list,
I
I'm
don't
more than
yet, but here, hold
happy.
on. I'm trying to let me pull up here. I'm gonna get sound in here in a second. Okay, let's see. Who do we have?
He's just so
Who is
buttery.
so up? Oh, he's so buttery. I could raid Princess Coffee now. Oh,
No, no.
Hero's
Yeah,
Treasure.
Hero's Treasure. That's Puddles.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I
See, I
we
didn't
call her
puddles.
Puddles. Yeah, yeah,
Puddles.
yeah.
I think that's great.
I
Let's go.
speak too fast.
No.
Sorry.
You're good.
Okay, let's do
Yeah,
it.
let's do that. Let's do that. So again, this is from
All right, guys.
Princess's Community. Though Hero's Treasure is absolutely fantastic. Currently, she is playing Dead by Daylight, right now. And actually, she had a birthday not that long ago, I believe.
She did. She did.
Yes.
And I unfortunately was a terrible friend and only spent the night before with
No, no, no,
her
no, no, no,
on
no.
her birthday. And then stuff happened on her birthday that I couldn't make it. And I felt like a terrible person.
No,
But of course she loves me and she forgave me.
no.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it on over there and
Yep.
I'm gonna mute you and stuff in here. And
That'll work.
I'll catch up with you in a bit.
Sounds like a
Yeah,
plan.
yeah.
Yes. All
All
right.
right.
I'll talk to
Love
you
you,
soon.
Sparrow.
You too. Bye. Okay. And with that, let me go back over here. Whoa, that's weird. That's not what I wanted at all. There we go. All right. We'll bring it into that now. And again, everyone, thank you so much on here. We're going to go ahead and start the raid here for Heroes Treasure. Again, I appreciate you all so much. I'm so happy that we had the opportunity to do this. We had a really great discussion today, and I'm just tickled that we had the ability to do it in the format that we did today. And Princess is absolutely amazing, and she really brought a lot of insight to that because she has that background, she has all of that, and that's wonderful. So, with that, thank you all. You guys are loved. You're amazing. Feel free to check us out. And let's go ahead and go over to Heroes Treasure or Puddles. All right. Thanks, everybody. We're going to get this started here in the next 9 seconds. And again, I appreciate you all. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.